Hi, guys, and welcome to the first podcast in the Visions and Dreams series. Today, I'd like to talk about following one's heart. So often we hear this: follow your heart, follow your dreams, and live your life on purpose. But what if you don't know what your heart wants? What if you don't know your purpose or why you're even here? What then? Many wish to help others. They want to be of service to humanity, but often find themselves in the place of not knowing their own unique way to contribute for the greater good. So how do we get from a place of not knowing to a place of knowing? And how do we connect the dots and clear that fog of uncertainty? What I share with you today is based upon my own experiences and inner turmoil of feeling lost. And I hope by sharing these experiences, you'll be inspired and have greater clarity and insight on your own journey. Now, I don't believe my lessons are unique to me. Although we all have different stories, I do believe we all at some stage in our lives walk through the same lessons. Lessons such as self-worth, inner strength, faith, trust, compassion, and so many more. So let's start at the beginning. When we are born with open hearts. Everything is magical and the world is an adventure full of color and endless possibilities. But as we journey through life and experience disappointments and heartache, we start to see the world and everyone in it differently. Doubts, issues of trust, and many other fears come into play, and that once open heart slowly starts to close with each new disappointment. We don't feel so safe, and so to protect ourselves from being hurt, we barricade our hearts with walls that no one can break. And so we continue to journey through life, eradicating any feelings of awe and wonder, and instead relabel them as being childish. For if we were to embrace the wonder and magic of life with open hearts, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable to life's disappointments. And so love is seen as a weakness. For we understand that the extent to which we love was also the extent to which we got hurt. Moving through life, we continue with the motions that make up this existence, studying, working, relationships, and so on. And eventually our lives start to feel as though we are on autopilot. Although on a deeper subconscious level, we realize that walls were put up, what we fail to understand is how those walls actually contribute to an even deeper feeling of discontentment, stagnation, and restlessness from deep within. Questions such as why am I here and what is my purpose start to arise, and we often find ourselves getting agitated at statements such as follow your heart. Because seriously, what does that even mean if we don't even know what our hearts want? This was me for most of my life. For a very long time, I felt lost with no idea why I was even here or what my purpose actually was. And when I would come across different people living their life on purpose with passion, something inside me would ache, for there was nothing I wished for more than to know who I was. I remember being in high school and asking my textiles teacher what my talent was, as I sat there struggling to sew a sarong while others made prom and wedding dresses. Then there was art class, which I did enjoy from year 7 to 9, but with the arrival of the new art teacher, that all changed. I was always getting into trouble for my unorthodox creative methods, and I remember being pulled aside many times and being told I would fail when it came to art. Needless to say, my marks dropped considerably, and I lost all interest in being creative. By my teenage years of having gone through my share of disappointments, my view of the world had already been shaped. It felt as though closing that last chapter in art had set me on a completely different course, governed by my mind. I did so many different courses hoping to please and impress others around me, and only considered relationships that ticked all the right boxes. A marriage and 2 wonderful children later, my life felt safe and secure. And you know what? It looked pretty amazing to the outside world. It fit into society's expectations of living the dream. For a while, I was content as I was cocooned in this safe bubble that I had created. Being a new wife and mother brought different experiences and challenges that kept me busy and distracted from how I was truly feeling. But as the kids started to grow and wasn't as dependent on me, I found I had more time to myself, and the same old feelings began stirring within me once more. Who was I? And what was my purpose? Day after day, this inner stirring would continue, and distractions that I once found pleasing, such as new TV series or going out with friends, it didn't hold the same satisfaction as they once did, for that emptiness inside me remained. 11 years into my relationship, and I found myself exhausted of life. I knew on a deeper level that I was meant to be doing something more, and that I did serve a higher purpose than the material world I had been so consumed with. November 2009, my whole life changed. I had been feeling tired of being sick and tired, and so I'd ventured outside and just sat in the grass, hoping to just zone out. But something else occurred. Instead of zoning out, I started to zone in. A blade of grass had somehow captivated me in that moment of feeling numb. The intricate patterns of the grass had me baffled. And questions such as, how were the lines, color, and texture so perfect? Everything about that blade of grass just stood out, and my mind could not find the answers for all the questions that were arising within me. I became so overwhelmed with awe for this single blade of grass that I broke down crying. I felt so much gratitude, appreciation, and love. It felt as though I had seen the whole universe in that single blade of grass. Everything in that moment had suddenly made sense as I sat there feeling love. I started to open my eyes to the life that was buzzing all around me, the plants, flowers, trees, birds. It literally felt as though I was seeing my backyard for the very first time. Everything glowed. How did I not see this for so many years? As I sat there with deep appreciation and love, I began feeling this buzzing sensation in my forehead. And then not long afterwards, I started seeing psychedelic colors. The closest thing I can compare this to would be traveling through space with colorful nebulas and warp speed. Now at this point, my mind would usually intercept with doubts, but because I was feeling so much love for all the life around me, I decided to just go with it and see where these visions of light would take me. Next thing I knew, a woman in a simple beige dress walked through my back fence. She wore no shoes and had long wavy hair as she approached me with such gentleness and grace. And I felt no fear, even though I knew she was a spirit of sorts. We proceeded to have a long conversation about my life, and you can imagine my questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And is this it? Looking at me, she smiled and said, "You came here to create, and it will be through your artworks that others will find their path." There was a moment my mind flashed back to high school, then to a couple of instances while being married when I did attempt to paint. But my beliefs of not being good enough were confirmed when my canvas would turn black, then eventually be chucked out. But again, because I was feeling so light, relaxed, and awake with love, I did not allow my mind to run away with me. This experience in my backyard, it left me feeling so inspired. My first artwork after that experience, I finished within a week. Her name is Free Spirit, and she still sits in my corridor as a reminder to the miracle that is life. finishing that artwork, I found a renewed sense of belief in myself. If I could do one artwork, I could do more. This new way of thinking put me on a whole new path that was nourishing and nurturing for my soul. That uncertainty and restlessness disappeared within me when that passion to create was ignited. And with that awakening, my life, path, and purpose became clearer each day. I chose to honor that creative child within me. So what exactly transpired to get me out of that autopilot state to a place of renewed passion and stronger connection to self? Gratitude. Yes, we've all heard it a million times. Have more gratitude, right? But think about it for a moment. Every feeling holds a vibration. Some feelings vibrate at higher frequencies and some at lower frequencies. So why is this so important? Feelings that hold lower vibrations attract to us further situations to keep us vibrating at that level. For instance, if you constantly feel rage, you'll find yourself constantly attracting to you situations that make you angry. Our vibrational state is what determines our way of life. Our vibration is influenced by our feelings, and our feelings are influenced by our thoughts. Our thoughts are influenced by our self-beliefs, and our self-beliefs are shaped by how we see the world based upon our own individual life experiences. By adulthood, most souls vibrate at such low frequencies as we hold feelings of unworthiness, rage, depression, and more. And with no trust or faith in life, we walk around with our hearts barricaded. And we wonder why we keep encountering so many setbacks and pain-filled experiences. Life feels as though we're in one big merry-go-round with repetitious cycles of suffering. So to sum it up, our vibrational state is very important if we wish to live a more fulfilling, joyous life. For the higher our vibration, the stronger our connection to the oneness of life. And with that, we are also connecting to the limitless abundance life has to offer. Feelings that embody love, such as gratitude, vibrate at such a high loving octave that the more gratitude we have, the more love gets reflected back to us. So holding that feeling of gratitude is so much more powerful and spiritually rewarding than most probably even realize. There comes a time in our lives when we have to ask ourselves if having those walls up are actually worth it. You see, when we have these walls up, what we're actually doing is barricading ourselves in with all that pain and disappointments that led us to build walls in the first place. And we wonder why life just does not move forward. To have that realization of what our hearts want, the mind needs to connect with the heart. But how can it? How can it if the heart has walls all around it? So every time the mind tries to see what the heart wants, it comes up against walls. At this junction, some take leave and fly across the world in search for answers, only to find their search for answers lead them back home within themselves. Our souls long to grow and experience all facets of life. And when we don't make that conscious decision to bring down those walls, the universe finds a way to eventually bring them down, and we feel pain and despair. Some feel as though they are being cursed when all the pain that was avoided gets thrown at them from every angle. And the first moment we have an opportunity, we do everything in our power to once again put up those walls. That day in my backyard was the first day parts of that wall was taken down. Eventually, I made that conscious decision that I was going to trust life. Well, guess what? Everything I had feared, for instance, being hurt, reasons for building walls in the first place, it happened. And I found myself having to make that decision on whether it was safer having those walls up, or whether I was going to walk through those fears and use it to empower me. I chose to walk through those fears, and in doing so, I walked closer to the divine light within me. So if you wish to know what your heart wants, bring down those stubborn walls. Look deeper at what fears and limiting beliefs you hold within yourself, for it is these fears and beliefs that make up your wall. Make that decision to bring down those walls is choosing to walk through whatever life throws at you with courage and determination. And although you make yourself vulnerable to failing, hurting, or having your heart broken, I tell you, you come out stronger, wiser, and more empowered. And with an open heart, your journey continues up instead of round in circles. And if you need a little help as you take this road, go outside and connect with nature. For the more you connect with the magic of this wondrous earth, the more you connect with yourself. Allow nature to guide you back to that creative child within you, the child that loves life and just wishes to play, dance, and embrace this wonderful opportunity we call life. Allow Mother Earth to nurture and heal that broken heart. Thank you all so much for listening. Blessings and much love to you all.